Dengan dilandasi keyakinan, UT mampu beradaptasi dengan setiap perubahan dan sumber daya manusia yang excellent, serta memiliki jiwa dan karakter Pancasila yang kuat. Universitas Terbuka siap menyongsong era baru pendidikan tinggi jarak jauh di tanah air yang modern menuju Indonesia maju.
Dahulu, ketika UT didirikan pada tahun 1984, tidak sedikit orang yang memandang sebelah mata Universitas Terbuka. Hari ini kita percaya bahwa UT telah menjadi perguruan tinggi negeri yang besar, berdiri sejajar dengan perguruan tinggi lain yang lebih dahulu didirikan, bahkan terdepan dalam pendidikan terbuka dan jarak jauh. UT menjadi instrumen penting pemerintah dalam pemerataan pendidikan tinggi berkualitas dunia ke seluruh pelosok tanah air, bahkan mancanegara. Sulit rasanya meningkatkan angka partisipasi kasar pendidikan tinggi tanpa kehadiran UT.
Seiring dengan berubahnya status menjadi perguruan tinggi badan hukum atau PTNBH, yang membuatnya sejajar dengan perguruan tinggi terkemuka di Indonesia yang lebih dahulu didirikan, UT semakin lincah dalam merespon beragam tuntutan internal dan eksternal dengan melakukan terobosan baru yang inovatif dan adaptif. Dengan semangat, tatanan dan budaya kerja baru mewujudkan Indonesia maju. Perkembangan teknologi yang ramah pengguna, terjangkau, tersebar, serta semakin meningkatnya literasi digital masyarakat. UT semakin mendapat tempat di hati berbagai kalangan. Hal itu tampak pada terus meningkatnya jumlah mahasiswa dan dalam 5 tahun terakhir, jumlah mahasiswa usia muda terus meningkat. Menyadari karakteristik dan kompleksitas pendidikan jarak jauh dan masyarakat yang berubah dengan cepat, UT melakukan investasi yang signifikan untuk penyediaan infrastruktur modern dan SDM yang berkualitas. Gedung Profesor Setiadi menjadi landmark keseriusan UT dalam menjadikan teknologi modern sebagai tulang punggung layanan kepada mahasiswa dan stakeholders lainnya. Gedung yang dilengkapi peralatan terkini siap memberikan layanan online terbaik.
Pada tahun ini, UT meluncurkan aplikasi MyUT yang memudahkan mahasiswa mengakses semua layanan pendidikan dengan menerapkan teknologi Sistem Single Sign-On atau SSO.
Dalam mewujudkan akuntabilitas keuangan, UT mengimplementasikan transformasi digital tata kelola keuangan atau yang disebut dengan SIP3, Sistem Informasi Perencanaan, Pelaksanaan, dan Pertanggungjawaban Keuangan.
Dengan demikian, setiap kegiatan dapat memaksimalkan value, meningkatkan kinerja dan kontribusi, serta menjaga keberlanjutan UT dengan prinsip transparansi, accountability, independency, responsibility, dan fairness. UT mengembangkan aplikasi sendiri yang diberi nama Smart Procurement Management Information System yang disingkat PROMIS.
Aplikasi ini sudah mendapatkan penghargaan dan apresiasi dari sejumlah lembaga pemerintah, termasuk perguruan tinggi negeri yang sudah menggunakannya.
Sebagai jantung sebuah perguruan tinggi, Fakultas memiliki peran penting dalam memberikan layanan akademik dan terus berpacu meningkatkan kualitas akademik dan inovasi pembelajaran. Akreditasi baik nasional maupun internasional, termasuk upaya mendapatkan international recognition, terus dibangun. Di antaranya penyiapan bilingual course materials untuk menampung international students.
Universitas Terbuka sudah memiliki fondasi yang kuat dalam memanfaatkan digital learning. Fondasi ini harus terus dikembangkan untuk memfasilitasi penguasaan mahasiswa dan para dosen terhadap industri teknologi masa depan.
Saya memberikan apresiasi tinggi kepada Universitas Terbuka sebagai pioner dalam pembelajaran jarak jauh pada tingkat perguruan tinggi yang telah memberikan layanan pendidikan tinggi yang terjangkau dan fleksibel bagi masyarakat di seluruh pelosok tanah air selama hampir 4 dasawarsa ini, dan selalu terdepan dalam inovasi pendidikan jarak jauh.
Universitas Terbuka selama ini telah berperan penting dalam upaya pemerataan pendidikan melalui sistem pembelajaran jarak jauh. Dan seiring pergantian zaman, Universitas Terbuka turut berkembang menyediakan pendidikan yang tidak dibatasi ruang kelas. Semoga semangat mencerdaskan semua anak bangsa, dari Sabang sampai Merauke, terus menjadi semangat Universitas Terbuka. Mari terus menghadirkan pendidikan berkualitas tanpa batas.
Kami menyadari bahwa keberhasilan UT adalah berkat kepercayaan pemerintah dan masyarakat. Mari membangun manusia dan Indonesia yang lebih baik bersama Universitas Terbuka.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Shalom, Om Swastiastu, Namo Buddhaya, Salam Kebajikan. First of all, allow me to extend our warmest greetings to the honorable speakers, Professor Song Sulim from Korea University. Also, we would like to welcome our honorable guest today, Dr. Subekti Nurmawati MSI, as the Dean of Faculty of Science and Technology Universitas Terbuka, Dr. Andesian Hotman MSI as Head of Agribisnis Study Program, Ms. Fanti Fitriani Nurunisa SA MSI MSc as our moderator, and all of the participants of today's event. And we would like to welcome to the visiting lecture on today, Friday, 12th July 2024. And I would like to say good afternoon and a very warm welcome to all of participants who joining us physically here in auditorium and also participants who joining us using Zoom. And this visiting lecture session is proudly presented to you by Agribisnis Study Program of Faculty of Science and Technology of Universitas Terbuka. Ladies and gentlemen, before we officially start the visiting lecture, please allow us to first broadly go through the agenda as follows. First, we will sing the Indonesia's national anthem, Indonesia Raya. Next, we will have the welcoming speech that will be spoken by the Dean of Faculty of Science and Technology of Universitas Terbuka. And then we will have the visiting lecture sessions with Professor Song Sulim, followed by Q&A session. And then we gonna have the delivering certification of appreciation to the speakers. And we gonna have the photo session and the closing. And ladies and gentlemen, as we gather here today, let's pray together according to our respective religions and beliefs. Please start praying. Amen. Ladies and gentlemen, to begin our beautiful event today, let us listen to the national anthem of Indonesia. To participants who gather here physically, please stand up. You may have your seat again. Ladies and gentlemen, let us hear the welcoming speech from the Dean of Faculty of Science and Technology of Universitas Terbuka. Please welcome Dr. Subekti Nurmawati, MSI.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Before I start, would you please to sit in front of the chair? Hi Risa, would you please to move? Bu Endang and others. Okay. All of you, students? Mhm. My Okay, thank you very much. Our Honorable Prof. Song Solim from Korea University. Welcome to Universitas Terbuka. This is your second times you visit to Universitas Terbuka. And this is my pleasure that you will come here in sudden time that I can imagine before that we can meet again. Our Honorable Head of Study Program, Agribisnis Study Programs, Ibu Fenty as moderators, our lecturers, our students, our lecturers who join offline and also online by Zoom meeting. This event is organized by Agribisnis Study Program that probably 2 days ago, Ibu Fenty or Mas Bayu informed me that Prof. Song will come here. Yes, it's very nice. So we can create just one day, we can create 2 events. This morning, we just create activities in community service, and this time continued with visiting lecturer. I think applause to us. Yes, thank you. That's what the short time we can create 2 times in short time. Yeah. Okay, Prof. Song, that it's my privilege that we can join, and also, ladies and gentlemen, we can join this forum, and I think it's very glad for us that we can meet again, and I express our gratitude to your time. You can share your experience. Probably we'll share that with the topic food cluster policy and research from a perspective of South Korea. I think we can learn from Prof. Song's experience who done in Korea, and probably we can implement in Indonesia with your experience in agribusiness perspective in Korea. And I would like also support our friend can discuss more productive this time. And I very happy that Prof. Song have informed me that Bu Fenty has 2 publications. Is right? That's right? To prepare. Yeah. Oh, I see. I think this is a very nice, very good activities that we can share to each other, to other lecturers. We can follow these activities that I think will support the development of FST, and also currently we enhance the cooperation between FST with other universities, especially from overseas, because we have to support the world-class universities of vision of UTs. I think this is all for me. We hope that this event can then very nice. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Please give round of applause for the warm welcoming speech that's already delivered by our Dean of Faculty of Science and Technology of Universitas Terbuka. And our distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, we will now continue to the main agenda for today's event, the visiting lecture with the theme of Food Cluster Policy and Research from a Perspective of South Korea, that will be delivered by our honorable speaker, Professor Song Sulim, Department of Food and Resource Economics of Korea University. And for this section, I would like to give attention to all the participants who are joining us virtually using Zoom to follow these following matters. First, please open your camera and turn off your microphone during this presentation. And if you have any question, please write it down to the Q&A section with format your name, underscore your institution or UT daerah, and then will be followed by your question. Or you can ask directly by using the raise hand feature in Zoom. And it is expected that to all participants who are joining us virtually using Zoom to fill the attendance form with the link that will be shared on the chat box at the end of this event, and we will share a link for attendance form. So, ladies and gentlemen, this visiting lecture will be moderated by one of our lecturer, that is Mrs. Fanti Fitriani Nurunisa, SA, MSc, MSc. And now I would like to invite Mrs. Fanti and also Professor Song Sulim to guide us through an insightful lecture. Mrs. Fanti, if you may, this visiting lecture is yours now.
Tes. Oke, Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Good afternoon, everyone. Oh, this is some critical hour, yeah, after half lunch, and some of us might feel a little bit sleepy, but I'm sure that today's lecture will give us a very interesting insights, yeah, especially for students and also lecture from Agribisnis study program. First, I would like to thank Ms. Safira for your kind words and introduction. And I am Fanti Fitriani Nurunisa, as mentioned by Ms. Safira. I will be your moderator for today's session. Before we start the lecture, the main session, as the MC mentioned, this lecture will talk about food cluster and policy and research from perspective of South Korea, with Professor Song Sulim as the speaker has been here with us. And I would like to introduce Professor Song Sulim briefly. Professor Song Sulim is a professor from Department of Food and Resource Economics, Korea University. This is the second time Professor Song Sulim come to Universitas Terbuka. And his expertise is in international trade, and of course he has carried out a lot of research regarding to international food trade, and then trade negotiation, international institution, and food policies, and so on. Professor Song Sulim received his PhD degree from Texas A&M University, correct, Prof? Okay, in 1995, majoring agricultural finance and policies. So without any further ado, let's give applause to Professor Song Sulim, and you may start your lecture.
Okay, thank you very much for your kind introduction. As Venti said, this is my second time at this lovely campus. And I appreciate Dean Nuruma's the recognitions and her invitation to this important event. And my friend Agung said that today is Batik Day. I should wear Batik shirts. But as a matter of fact, this batik was a gift when I visited here 2 years ago. And dean and faculty members, you gave this one as a gift. So wearing this batik and second visit to Indonesia, do I look like Indonesian now? Not yet? No way to go? Okay, thank you. Okay, also not only this, the audience here are also welcome and to all participants from online. Online members, hi, 안녕하세요, online members. All right. Okay, today's topic is about the food cluster. This concept is not well spread to in the agricultural area, unfortunately. But if you look at the manufacturing sectors, you can easily find, this concept, manufacturing cluster. One of good example is Silicon Valley in United States, California state. Those similar industry get together and they generate, more synergetic effect in their impact on the industry. So we may have these ideas, clustering of industry into certain area and places. We can stimulate those competitive advantage of the industry. One potential area is food. So we want to promote this food, the cluster, and how this cluster creation generate those economic and social impact on the region, also all over the global chain. That is our target. I want to share our experience with you. Also, we can learn from each other. You can show your information, your experience as well after my presentation. So we can continue this way. I can move on. Okay. So next slide, you can see this just major contents, and I will not go every detail. Instead, I will highlight some part of that one. So first, what is the concept of next slide, please. This concept is started from manufacturing complex. So companies get together, located nearby, and they can they can engage in the production activities together. Sometimes we use this term industrial complex or industrial parks. At Korea University, our campus also invite those entrepreneurs, the food companies. You might know like Samyang, the food company, or some others. They have a laboratory on the campus. So the professors and students, graduate students, and industry, they gathered together, they share their knowledge, and they have innovative activities together. So we said this is the cluster between academia and industry. Now, if you add government, we have triangle, public, government, academia, and industry. We set up this triangle, and one of our faculty, here's a faculty building, we have 4 faculty buildings, and then 5th building is designated to that study, collaboration. So that building hosts the company's office and professors and students, and they work together as a researcher. They develop new products and new methodology, and also they contribute to academic paper as well together. Okay, that concept is what we call it complex. Complex. So we utilize this concept, or sometimes we call it industrial park. Industrial park. This concept is like a Silicon Valley in the United States. We use this concept to build the linkages, industry, academia, and research and government. Also, that will promote technical development. Also, we can have more impact on the region and the society as a whole. Next, please. So we come from this concept over the years, but let me focus on this part. Industrial complex is not the same as industrial areas. So what is the difference between industrial complex and industrial areas? The key difference is this: whether this complex is designed by master plan. If you have these clusters under the certain master plan, we call them as industrial complex. But without this master plan, you have many companies together at the same location. That is simply industrial areas, not complex, we call it. Right? So to be qualified as complex, you need master plan. Okay, this master plan includes not only production activities, it includes other supporting activities as well. In other words, this morning, I met some local producers, okay? Then these producers, they can work together, maybe as a cooperative, whatever. They can locate in similar places, same places, and they can produce ornamental fish. But it doesn't qualify industrial complex as it is. To be qualified as complex, there should be some master plan to link those producers and their activities. Okay, supporting one. I will explain food cluster in Korea, how we are doing this kind of activities together. Next slide, please. So early stage of economic development, we need this industry complex to boost economic growth. And we said industrializing states, 1950s, 60s, as you know, at the time, Indonesia was much richer than Korea, right? It's an early period of industrialization. So we want to stimulate economic growth. Also, one of the target was, this complex was to achieve a balanced regional growth, because those complex located in rural areas. By locating them in the rural, this complex can provide job employment for rural residents. So they don't have to migrate into urban cities. So that was another important goal, policy goals, why government and industry tried to set up their industrial complex in the region, in the local areas. Next slide, please. So this few slides summarize the historical development of this. As you know, until 1960, per GDP capita of South Korea was $79 per head. Okay, you were much richer than Korea, several times richer than Korea at the time. And we have a deficit, trade deficit, and mainly we were the agrarian economies. And we set up the economic development plan since then. Then we implemented it over time, this one, like the first 5 years, economic development, second development, third plan, like that. Next slide, please. So this is a one city's monument that celebrates this, the first industrial the complex locations in 1962. So it started from manufacturing industry complex 1962. Okay, and we also provide those basic the legal the status for this one to support this one. And main industry in the early 1970s was steel, machinery, shipbuilding, electronics, non-ferrous metals, and petrochemical. Okay, look at this list. In the early 70s, we set these 6 areas as strategic area. You know what? Today, Korea, South Korea, all these 6 areas have very successful, highly competitive industry. I shared this information this morning with students. We don't produce any petroleum in South Korea. We import petroleum. But Korea become a major exporter of petrochemical. We process petroleum, we make it chemical, and Korea become a leading country of petrochemical. You know, steel industry. We don't have mining the metal, mining products. We import these rocks, the iron, ore. Japan has very strong steel industry. So we want to build this steel industry. Japanese government didn't like that. They don't want Korea to develop steel industry because Japan colonized Korea 36 years. But to develop industry, we need steel. So steel companies start from that. We try to provide steel to our domestic company. So we made it this one as still as a strategic industry area. Today, you know what? Because of this steel industry, we can produce automobile, Hyundai, Kia. They start from this steel industry. Without this steel industry, we couldn't be an exporter of Korean car. All cars should be Japanese car because Japan developed this steel industry. Now this steel industry might move into India and other Asian countries as well. Probably, why not Indonesia? If you produce this, maybe we can see many Indonesian cars on the street, not Toyota. Right? So this idea started from 1970s in the country. You know, other areas too, like shipbuilding. Korea is small port. Indonesia, you have a lot of, resources and port. But we have this shipbuilding industry is one of the major industry. Also, it is one of the major capability in the world. High valued the ship. High value ship, like what? Chemical or LNG ship, LNG carriers, like that. High value shipbuilding. Okay? It become vital industry in Korea. Okay, I gave you several examples. We start from that, this industry complex. So we achieve this industrial growth as well on the basis upon that. Next slide, please. Okay, this is some historical one over the time, 1990s. Now we are moving into more the information-centered industry, right? As you know, like mobile, the internet basis, knowledge industry, biotech, things like that. And we also set up our legal basis to support those one. Next slide. Okay, this is the Korean Peninsula, in the southern part of South Korea. And the location is right here. It's a port, Seosan. We have this industry complex. Here is a Korean letter, It's an agriculture and industry complex. Agriculture combined with industry. So in the rural area, we build the factories. So this factory hire the local farmers, local people. So it provides job, employment. Then what? The income increase in the area. So rural area can sustain itself. They develop each other. Okay? So this is some example how agriculture and industry combined together. Okay, mainly what? They can be the second industry, but also they can use the primary goods from regional area to process it. Okay, like for instance, you can have a ramen factory here with some other agricultural products provided to this factory, like that. So win-win outcomes. Next slide. And the more recent years, this cluster is very important to attract the investment funding. Also, we start to have a more advanced form of park, something like a cultural industrial park, culture combined. Maybe this is important for the rural tourism and telecommunication industry park as well. Next slide. Okay, this is some statistics about the industrial complex. Technically speaking, we have 4 types of industrial complex. National, is a central government control it. General, it's a local government, province, local government set up their own version. And we have urban high-tech in the urban area. High-tech, something like a computer or information technology, biotech, like that. Here, the fourth one is agro-industrial. It's a rural area. We set up this industrial. So that's one. These numbers, you see, the agro-industrial complex account for about 487. Okay? The total number of farms is what? Over 7,000. It's a 2024, this year's first quarter data. And this is 151,000 people are working on agro-industry complex. Next one. So my second topic today, we create this so-called national food cluster. Okay. Up to now, I introduced industrial complex for industry, but now I want to introduce this relatively new development in the country, national food cluster. Okay, this concept starts from 2008. This idea born in 2008. Now, so we have this plan. It's by 2012, the first plan. We are 2024, right? So we were under this first plan. From 2026, so 2 years later, we will implement second plan. So this is an ongoing effort in the country. Okay. Why we have this national food cluster? Interestingly, look at the last line. Okay. The farm sectors in Korea is less advantageous compared to other countries. When we have a free trade agreement, especially United States, US is a larger exporter of agricultural products. So our farmers, we were afraid if we have a free trade agreement with the United States, food will imported from the United States. That will destroy our agriculture. So farmers were pretty much afraid to accept free trade. So they were very defensive. So to compensate those fears, the hesitance, is to build this food cluster. Okay, we can be competitive. We can be exporter as well. We don't get only import from the United States. We can export our products to US as well. So how we can attain this competitive advantage? This edge can be created by this food cluster. So government decided to form the food cluster and they start to support this idea, this food cluster since 2007. Next slide, please. So this is the basic information about what's going on in the global food sector. As you know, food market is increasing. Well, food market is larger than IT market, information technology market. Food market is larger than world automobile market. How big? Almost 8 times larger. So faculty of this, students, okay, there is huge potential. Our food market is much larger than technology and automobile industry. One of the biggest industry in the world, food market. Well, so in the global market, Asia and the Pacific area account for 40%. Indonesia is also Asia and Pacific regions. Korea as well is 40%. This Asian market is largest. European market, 27% only in the world market share. So we are the bigger player, biggest player, Asia in food market. We have a huge opportunity, potential because of that. Okay? The United States, Canada only was 17%. But given this huge potential, however, the food sector suffers from a low competition due to small scale in production and R&D, right? So this gives you how small we are. Korean company, have you heard from CJ? 제일제당 CJ company? Their sales is only 17 billion US dollars, but this Switzerland company, Nestle, okay? Nestle is what? 93 billions. So top food company in Korea only account for 17 billion, but the Switzerland company, Nestle, is what? 93 billion. You know what? When I visited Nestle, the vice president of Nestle told me that Switzerland, they don't produce any coffee beans. Switzerland, no coffee bean. Indonesia, you have coffee beans here. But Switzerland, they don't have a coffee bean. You know what? But Switzerland, Nestle, become a #1 coffee exporter in the world. They don't have any coffee bean tree. But Nestle company is #1 coffee exporter in the world. Belgium, you know Belgium? Belgium is known for what? Chocolate. Godiva chocolate. I visit the Godiva factory in the Belgium. They told me that Belgium don't have any coconut. There is no coconut in the country. But they are the world famous chocolate exporters. Like a petrochemical in Korea. So student, what do you think? Indonesia produce coffee, right? So Yeah. So, yeah, you need to add up values. You need to ladder up your value additions. Then you become number one instead of Nestle. Next slide, please. So food sectors, this is major food sectors in the world. I think you heard it before. Like a Food Valley in Netherlands. You know the Food Valley in Netherlands. Okay. Second one is the Årsand cluster in Denmark, also Sweden. They share this food cluster together. And third one is Napa Valley in US. Is they produce a lot of the wine or something. It's Napa Valley. So Korea, we want to be what food cluster. We want to be. The next slide, please. We want to be next to those. We can compare with those world-known food cluster. That was our ideas. Okay, and what is the industrial complex with the food clusters? Okay? The key is networking and value additions. Okay? So how we can transform these food clusters to meet those companies' networking, and how we can make this food cluster as knowledge industry, technology, okay, advanced skills, and new products, innovative products and ideas, how we can incorporate those innovation. Okay, that is the key challenges before us. Next one. As a case studies, we have Iksan City, the national food cluster. It's similar with the location I show you in the Korean peninsula. It's next door, the neighbor. Okay, and this is their development. The first stage, 2018. Second stage, 2028. Okay, we have this. Next slide. This is next slide, please. This is the food cluster concept. Location is about this middle part. They can access to the port here, so they can ship to China and other part of the country destination, international trade. So they produce here. They can provide logistics to all over the countries. Okay. Next slide, please. This is our landscape map. We are building this structure now as a food cluster. Okay, you see this. This is some those map. And one. Next one. So policy support. Our target is we become 5th global food cluster after Netherlands, United States, Denmark, Sweden, and we want to be 5th food cluster in Korea in the world. And as you know, we want to do this strategy. Next slide, please. So we put the investment, we try to attract foreign investment as well. And also we provide the subsidies, government provides some subsidies for education training and including the worker settlement and tax reduction as well. Next slide. Okay, this is important. Okay. Do you remember what I said? Master plan. We need to have a master plan to be qualified as the food cluster industry park. So not only production company, we in the complex, we have this kind of supporting centers, research centers, evaluation support center, food quality and safety center, who support this food quality, ensuring this food quality. And this includes HACCP certification, food safety certification, right? And packaging center, they develop how to package the produced food. So they provide this support. And pilot plant, okay? Small scale production of the prototype. You have innovative food, so they set up this center. They produce this pilot, products for testing purposes, and they test it. Then they contract with manufacturing, and they can process it. Next slide, please. And food venture capital. Okay, food venture capital center. This one is what? Like a young student, they have ideas. Then they can make a proposal. Then they start as a venture startup. Korea University, on the corner of one campus, we have a venture center. So student, they, as a group, they have ideas, entrepreneurship ideas. They can start their business over there. So university provide this area, office, computer, and consulting services. So students have ideas, they can start up their venture company on campus. Likewise, if you have ideas, then they can provide consulting services and information so they can realize their potential, their ideas, startups, and also attract the R&D fund from the government. Okay, last one, this is the food policy. They are the control center. They link all those centers and complex together. This is the building. They try to organize those activities in the complex. Next one, next slide, please. Okay, I summarize it. What would be the economic benefit having this complex? Okay, I used the previous studies. Okay, they said it is good. It's good for employment. It's good for sales, good for export. But unfortunately, you see this bold line. The first line, first letters are our target. But this bold one is the actual figures. So we set target high, but achievement is very, very low. So we started this food cluster with the ambitious target, but actual result was not fantastic. So this is one lesson. Oh, how to improve our strategy to realize this target. That is research areas we have to do in near future. Okay, so we set a high target, but we achieved so far low result, low outcome. Next slide, please. So what is the key drivers of national food centers? Well, they have a high expectation on policy support. Companies who want to do this food cluster, participate in food cluster, they expect policy support. For instance, low rent from the land use. The government support those land prices. Also R&D centers and market development support. After they produce, they can marketing these products to the market. So government provide the service as well. Okay, and but unfortunately, the value chain from the agriculture production to the processed good or manufacturing, the second industry, those value chain is weak. For instance, you see the ramen in this country. Okay, we export a lot of ramen to Indonesia. Indonesian ramen also come to Korea, like a goreng, like a noodles come to Korea. But interestingly enough, ramen, this wheat flour is mostly imported from foreign country. So even this is a Korean ramen. You see, those noodles, the wheat flours come from other countries. This noodle is fried by palm oil, imported from Indonesia, Malaysia. Why? Korean oil is too expensive. If you use the Korean oil, you cannot competitive in pricing. So the Korean farmers want that. Why Samyang does not use domestically produced wheat and wheat flour? Why they have to buy this wheat from the United States, Canada, Australia? So these linkages from raw products, raw agricultural, and processed good, cookies, ramens, including that. That is key, how we can link from raw products to processed products. Okay, next slide. So we have an online ego network. Okay, this is the website. And we have a cluster organizations to increase the open innovation in regional innovation system as well. Next slide. Okay, we can find some positive factors of job creations in the industrial complex. So the study finds the positive contributors of that. We need further policy development. We need to expand this industrial complex. We need to promote high values process innovation for small and medium entrepreneurs, enterprises, and startup. We need more startup promotion within the industry complex. Okay, high quality settlement condition and work environment for rural employment. Next slide. So here's a research about that. Okay, how we do it. Some examples. So you can do this academic research on that. Next slide, please. Next slide. Okay, so we use this concept, 6 industry. Okay, student, first industry. This is the second industry, food processing. This is a third industry, like a tourism, service industry. 1 multiplied by 2 multiplied by 3. What is the number? 1 multiplied by 2 multiplied by 3. What is the total? 6. Agricultural products. Ramen. And Samyang company tour. Few years ago, I had a 40 Indonesian student. They visit Korea University. This student paid by themselves. And they came to campus, Korea, and they visit food company in Korea, Samyang. They want to see that. Noodle, okay, wheat flour, ramen, tour services. It's value addition. Next slide. Do you know the chestnut? Chestnut. How to say chestnut in Indonesian? Huh? You have a chestnut here? Okay. It's 40 kilograms of chestnut. The economic value is 501, Korean won per kilogram when you have 40 kilograms. When you process this chestnut into second industry, chestnut flour, it become 4 kilograms. 40 kilograms produce 4 kilograms of flour. Then the per kilogram value, 20,000 won. When you further process this one into the jelly, jelly is what? In Korean, book. Book. It's like Korean jelly. You create what? I'm sorry, this is the 2000. Misspelled. 2000. I'm sorry. Okay. It's a 2000. Now you have 3,500 won per kilo. If you stay here, you get only what? 500 won. If you process it, you will earn what? 7 times higher value. If you stay here, like a coffee, Indonesian coffee, or Nestle, they are here. Who become richer? Nestle. Who stay in low income? Indonesian coffee producers. So industrial park can be a motivator. They can encourage these activities through the industrial park, this one. So they can share the knowledge, technology, information, and with the supporting centers, okay, under the master plan, they can develop international market, export. Because small producers, they cannot export by themselves. No way, right? Like ornamental, fish producers, they have to get together. They have to be supported by this master plan, so they can ship their ornamental fish to all over the world, not only Vietnam. Okay? Next slide, please. So this graph gives you value chain, raw production, all the way to the demand, the consumption, and waste life cycle. Life cycle. Okay, in the vertical line, we have the what? Internet on things, big data, 3D printing, blockchain, robot, artificial intelligence, and biotechnology, something like the edge technology. So over the value chain, what kind of things are relevant in the agri-food technology innovation? So I translate this Korean language into someone. Okay, so we can consider those future development as well. Next one. So next slide, please. Okay, this is the food and nutrition security in Korea. Self-sufficiency, we need 100%, but domestically we produce only 36%. Indonesia is much higher than Korea, I think. Here is grain, the rice, wheat, corn, soybeans, things like that. Rice is near 90%. So put rice aside, wheat, corn, and soybeans is what? Only 20%. In other words, 80% come from foreign country. We import that. So this is the challenge. Okay, like Samyang's ramen industry, how we can domestically produce wheat, enough wheat flour to make ramen. That's very expensive if you use domestically grown wheat flour. So this is the challenge. Last one. So next slide, please. Okay, so we can conclude that the food cluster experience, we can transform the food sectors as export-led the growing industry. Without export, you cannot be competitive. Can I use the whiteboard? let's say this is the price or the cost of production. Let's say this is a quantity of production. We simply draw demand and supply curve, right? So this, let's say this is the dollars, prices, this is the quantity. China become a world factory. Okay? And Apple company, you may use the Apple phone or notebook or tablet, Apple company, global company. Well, we can use cost of production is something like this. Let's say this is the average cost. When you produce a lot, your average cost is low. When you produce little, then your average cost is high, isn't it? When you produce your ramen for only Indonesia, then you produce only little. Your cost of production is high. But if you produce for all countries in the world, you produce a lot. Then what? Your average cost of production is low. So who is this? Let's say this is a what? Nestle. Nestle produce, Switzerland company produce coffee all over the world. So they can produce a lot of coffee. Now, let me draw the new graph. Indonesia coffee. You have a chalk? Yes. Okay, this is an Indonesian coffee. Okay. You can produce at smaller cost compared to Switzerland, Nestle, right? Because the income, labor cost is lower here with the Switzerland labors, and rent is lower here than Switzerland's, right? So your production cost is low. But your market, if you sell your market, your coffee only Indonesia, you are here. Indonesia coffee price. But Nestle is here. That means what? Even you can produce coffee at lower cost, but this market will be occupied by Switzerland company. Why? Because Switzerland company can produce Q1. They can sell in the world market at lower prices. So, what is the lesson from this? From economics, simple economics, what is the lesson? Indonesian producers have to participate in global trade. You need to increase the scale production by participating export. You need to expand your export market to achieve, we call it this one, we call economies of scale. So last comment. When I visited Kenya, Africa, in the market, there was a shorts in the market. And Kenya can produce this shot with a lower price. I thought so. Why? Because Kenya labor is a low income low salary compared to the other country. You know what? Even Kenya, Maasai people market, you see this shirt is made by China. They have Chinese shirts on Maasai people's market. How come? The Kenya African wage is lower than Chinese wage, but all products come from China. Economic scale. If you stick to your domestic market, your cost is high. Global company, their cost is low. So our lesson here, why we make a food cluster. This food cluster idea is what? To expand our export, expand our market globally, so we can achieve the economic scale, so we can be a major player in the world market. Okay, that is the end of my presentation. Thank you very much. 감사합니다.
Professor Song Sulim, once again, let's give applause to Professor Song Sulim. Okay, so it was a very interesting topics about food cluster. Yeah, we have also, I think, that kind of issue, Professor. Looking at our condition in Indonesia when farmers are spreading with the small scales and collecting or doing collaboration is also one of the idea to make the agribusiness works more efficient, to have the economic of scales is better. But you have already elaborate how Korea start this food cluster, and it was really inspiring, for us here in Indonesia. So next, let's move to the Q&A session. I will invite all of the audience here in Auditorium of Faculty of Science and Technology to raise the questions related to Professor Song Sulim's material about food cluster, and also the audience who join us from Zoom. Yeah, I think there's around 70 audience on Zoom. So for the first session, I will invite audience from Auditorium who would like to ask for a question. Please raise your hand. One. Other question? Okay, please, Ms. Mutiara, please mention your name and study program and your question.
Thank you for the opportunity, our honorable lecturers, Mrs. Menti and Professor. Just a brief question that I just want to ask, that how come that the fermentation process food in Korea can reduce the production cost? Thanks. I think it's enough. Thank you.
When the companies get together in the same place, now, if there is a business opportunity, high quality of labor, they can easily find a job over there. When I visit the Silicon Valley, one of my friend worked in the company, one company in Silicon Valley. When he lost his job, next day, he can be employed by another company because they are together right here. So job, we call it labor pooling effect. When you have clusters, they attract high-skilled labor, so they can easily find employment in the valley. But that is very important. High-tech industry get together. They are sharing this high quality of labor together. Not only human capital, they can also share this technology and information. So by circulating this technology information, they can increase their productivity together, synergetic effect. Right? So by forming this complex, you can have many benefits. Also, as I mentioned this morning, altogether, they can cultivate export opportunity. Right? To export, you need a certain scale. If you are the small enterprises, you cannot meet this demand. For instance, like, Walmart in the United States, they have Walmart. You want to sell your products to Walmart, then Walmart said to you, okay, can you give us these products like what? 10,000 units? The small Korean company or Indonesian company, they cannot provide 10,000 units every day, this demand. So you never get contract with the selling company. Why? You are small, right? So once you get together, then you can meet these 10,000 units because that collection of producers, like a cooperatives. If you have a cooperatives, you can make a scale. Then you can make it lower cost. That is another benefit. How you can reduce your cost of production by being together, right? And lastly, who demand these products, they know that, there is a food cluster in Seosan City in South Korea. Whenever they need this product, they contact that complex. We need this product. Could you supply those products to us, right? They can easily visible being together. They are visible to the demander, okay, from the world market. So they can easily facilitate their trade agreement each other. Okay, there is a few benefits how this complex can reduce the cost of production and increasing the export opportunities.
Thank you so much, Professor Song. Hopefully it answers your question, Ms. Mutia. Is it clear? Hopefully, okay. So, another following question? No? Okay. So, is there any other question from the audience here? Oh, okay. Mr. Bayu first, and then Miss Ila. Okay.
Thanks, Prof. Song and Fenty. I want to know about food from local base. Does the food cluster take into account a local potential base on almost the same geography is very important, or is not necessary? About a potential local base in the same geography, then is reached together with other aspect, other manufacture. But if we can to account of about potential food base local food, it is necessary or not? Yes, thank you.
Okay, that is a very important question. When we have these ideas, as I said, rural development is one of the target. Okay? So rural development mean what? We, as much as we can, source our raw products locally. So local farmers can be part of this global chain, global value chain. They can supply their products to the industrial park. Industrial park, get this raw material, they process it, and they make final products. Then they can ship to the market and global destination as well. So as you said, local production is vital part and ideas how we can have this industrial cluster. But you have a national food cluster, local production would not be enough amount because national food cluster require many different products, not only one or two. So they can outsource from all countries all over the nation, Korea. So to bring that products into the national cluster and they process it. So first target, local production. Secondly, if it's not sufficient, we buy from the other region as well, bring them to the cluster, we manufacture, we process them. Okay? That is a secondary priority.
Okay. Okay, thank you, Prof. Song, for the interesting topic that you shared with us today. I have two questions. The first is how can companies to join or participate in the Iksan Food Cluster? This is the first one, and the second one is what strategies that the Iksan Food Cluster to compete in the global food industry?
Okay, qualification to be in the cluster is, well, first, it's open bid. It's open to the companies. Whoever want to come in, they can come in, but they have to meet basic standard, right? So if you meet this standard, they can be qualified to be one. But the government give some priorities. Whether the company have a potential to create this networking, or the company who willing to buy from local producers, the local basis. The company have a strategic vision to go the global. There are several criteria how the company can be chosen to be that. So because this is a regional location, some companies may not want to get into that level because they want to stay near Seoul area. They don't want to Seosan city. It's far away from main consumption market. So some company, they want to stay in metropolitan area. So they will not be relocated. They don't want that. But local factories, they want to be in, but the problem is some company may not be able to meet this basic criteria. So that is one. But current situation, demand is not that high to meet this one. So we still want more companies to come in. Okay? And also, another selection priority is startups, new venture company, startup, like young entrepreneurs. They have innovative ideas, then they can come in, okay, with the government support. That is the second criteria. Regarding the second questions, what strategy we have to go global? Well, that's very tough. As I said, even we have many food company who export their products to world market, like Tempat, ramen, tteokbokki, samgyetang, and paprika, Korean, the pear, there is many Korean products. How they can earn the competitive advantage? Okay, I think number one is quality. You have to meet this certain quality to be accepted by foreigners. If you go to the market, I checked the Indonesian market the other day. I see some fruits other than tropical fruits. okay, like a mandarin, citrus. The Jeju Island in Korea, we produce citrus. But my experience here, citrus, the color is not that much, consistent. The citrus, many part of citrus is produced in greenhouse in Korea. So their color and quality is very consistent. So consumer's point of view, so you want pretty citrus rather than this rough looking, citrus. With the premium prices, yes, there is a premium prices, but this citrus targeting on middle income class, middle income consumers like your family, right? So we are targeting certain segment of producers. When I visited Russia, same thing. Okay? In the Russian market, they import the citrus from Israel, long distance. But Russian consumers buy Israeli produced citrus. And Chinese produced citrus was low prices. So there is a quality gap and premiums. So Korean products are targeting on this quality area, quality and safety area, food. That is the one strategy. Second one is networking. We have Korean entrepreneurs here in Indonesia. They import from Korea and they disseminate their products to local people. So we have a human networking and entrepreneurship network, like Chinese people. Chinese people have this very strong network each other. Okay? Maybe Indonesia, you have 300 million people. You build this human network, then you can ship your products to overseas. I think this networking is another important strategy. Plus government support. Small entrepreneurs, they need support from the government. Otherwise, it's not easy to develop new market. So when you create new market, overseas market, the initial stage, government support, information, market information. Okay. Also, if sometimes financial support, R&D, that is a very another important third criteria, I believe, that should be done.
Okay, thank you very much, Prof. Song, for the answer. So is there any other question from here? Ibu Enda? Okay, please.
Thank you, Prof. Song. I want to ask you, who is the brain for small enterprises that they can join the bigger one and then come into the global market? Who is the brain? Is it from government? Is it from top down, or is it for every individual or every entrepreneur, small entrepreneur? They can. I'm very curious. How is the condition in Korea?
That is a very difficult task. How we can make those small, small players can be part of mainstream. Okay, that's extremely difficult. That's as I said in this food cluster cases. Individual company like Samsung, Hyundai, Kia, LG, they can have their own operation. They have an organization. They can develop their market, no problem. But small company, small producers, they don't have that kind of capacity and capability. They lack of human capital. Even I experienced small exporters, they couldn't speak a foreign language. There is no staff to speak a foreign language. How they can make an agreement with a foreign company? That's what I said. We need a certain master plan. We need supporting centers who can provide that kind of services, assistance to small players. Also, we need certain power, organizational structure. Let them pull together, clustering. They are network each other. Okay, cooperative, idea, theory. Agricultural cooperative theory is that small players form one single organization and they increase what purchasing power, negotiating power. Individually, you don't deal with the middleman. The middleman will lose. They will cut your prices. But cooperative, as single representative and middleman, if they negotiate it, they make a difference. The deal is different. Like that, small entrepreneurs, they under the supervision of government or some form of private organizations, those centers will provide translation services for foreign language and legal services, how to form the legal contract with the foreign country. Also, they can support to go outside exhibition, international exhibition, event, so they can promote their products to the foreign market. Like that kind of activities. Individual producers, small producers cannot do it by themselves. So we can provide that kind of services from public sectors or by themselves, private organization. They can promote that way. I think that is the only way we can stimulate small players to be part of global supply chain. Otherwise, it's extremely difficult for individually they can contact, they can develop those foreign market.
Okay, thank you. Thank you very much, Professor. Ibu Endang, is that clear? Okay, great. So we have other question from Zoom. It's coming from Ms. Mirawati Yanita. The question is, what is the challenge become global player, especially for agricultural product with unique characteristic, and what is the best strategy to survive in the market? Oh, okay. Please.
Okay, thank you for the question. This is a big question to me. Yes, agricultural products have a certain characteristic, unlike automobile, unlike semiconductor, unlike the toy. Okay, agricultural products, many agricultural products are fresh. Okay, I'm doing one research now. We want to export fresh agricultural products to Peru in Latin America. So our team, 4 people, we study now how we can ship Korean products, fresh Korean products to Peruvian market. By shipping, it takes about 3 weeks at least. For 3 weeks, if you ship for paprika, for 3 weeks, what happened? Yes, it will lose freshness. And I have a cut flour example. We export cut flour from Korea to United States. It's what? At least 2 weeks. How flour can survive? At the time we have nitrogen gas. We put the nitrogen gas and we blocked it. Then they can survive a longer period of time. We did this kind of packaging to export long distance market. The student asked me how agricultural products can be competitive. Well, it's extremely difficult, but we see this global trade. Many countries export fresh products, The Colombia export flowers to US market. African countries produce, those horticultural products and they export to European country market. We see the trade, increasing amount of fresh products are trading nowadays. So I think it's possible. Yes, the market is growing, but it should be combined with technology, logistics, information, right? So it is very important. So our study, Peruvian market, we try to find the good candidate of Korean agricultural product plus technology, how we can efficiently ship these products into long destined countries. Okay, that should be combined together. Okay?
Thank you, Prof. Song. So I think there's one last question from Ms. Nisa. How Korean manage the conducive environment of collaboration between farmer producer with the industry to work together? Is there any specific incentive or policy to encourage this collaboration between parties?
I wonder if you know EMAT. You know EMAT in Korea? It's a yellow color. Yeah, the mart. They advocate this yellow color one. Those merchandisers, we call it the merchandisers in the food market. Okay, these merchandisers travel to local area to find the producers, agriculture producers, and they make a contract like a middleman. So what is the biggest grocery in Indonesia? What is the name of biggest grocery?
It was Giant, but it's not operated anymore. I think it's Hero, yeah. Biggest groceries, Hero Group. Retails. Yeah, we have Hero groups.
That part, they have merchandiser. They go out and they outsource those products and they display on their market. So these merchandisers go to the local areas, contract the farmers, and they secure these products and they sell to the consumer, right? So that is one collaboration we see. The industry or retail shops have the contract with individual producers and they sell those products. That's one thing. Also, like as I mentioned about sixth industry, like producers have a contract with this processing company. Okay? So they can produce, they can increase their cooperation each other. Okay, that is more on the spot. But as I said, like E-Mart, and other the mart in Korea, merchandisers also play a big role to outsourcing these agriculture products from local producers.
We still have another question, actually coming from Mr. Taufik Hidayat from Ilmu Perpustakaan dan Informasi. I will just translate it to, which one do you think is better for sustainability? Food cluster side by side with housing or food cluster side by side with educational institution?
It's a very interesting question. Which one is more sustainable? Food clusters with houses or residence area, or food clusters with the educational institution? Well, I don't have very concrete answer to that questions. It depends on how you can see those benefits in terms of sustainability. If the sustainability is, as you know, we have three parts, like the economic part, the environmental part, right, social part, right? We have that one. So it depends on if you emphasize economic sustainability, probably residence area with food cluster is more attractive. But if you think about more innovative or knowledge creating the impact of food cluster, they can be more beneficial, be friends, neighborhood of educational unit. So depends on which benefit you put your emphasis on. Maybe that's choice would be different. Okay? That is very interesting question. I never thought of that.
Okay, thank you very much, Pak Taufik. I hope it answered your questions. Yeah, very interesting. So I guess that's all the questions from coming from the audience, both from on-site and online. Maybe is there any other questions from the lecture or the students? That's all? Okay, great. Yeah, thank you very much, Prof. Song. I guess it is a very fruitful discussion. It is very insightful also for us listening to your lecture about food cluster. Once again, let's give applause to Professor Song Sulim. Thank you very much once again, and that's ending our sessions today. Our visiting lecturer. I would like to thank everyone for joining us today and having such a great discussion. And I'm sorry if there's any mistakes or things that not really good. I will give back my microphone to Miss Safira as the MC. Thank you very much. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Thank you, Mrs. Fenty, and also Prof. Song for delivering the visiting lecture session with the theme of food cluster policy and research from a perspective of South Korea. And next, as a token of appreciation to our speaker, Professor Song, the next session is delivering certificate and also a little merchant from Universitas Terbuka to our speaker, Professor Song Sulim. And this certificate and also a little merchant will be delivered by our head of Agribisnis study program. So I would like to invite Dr. Andes Jan Hotman, MSE, and also Professor Song Sulim to join me in the center of this room. Okay. And also for participants who are joining us virtually, the committee already shared the attendance link. So you have to fill the form and then you will get a digital certificate from the committee. Okay, so Mr. Jan Hotman will deliver the certificate to our speaker, Professor Song Sulim. Okay, congratulations. And please take a look at the camera. Okay, another one. We have a souvenir for you, Professor Song. Very good. Another one. A little present from Universitas Terbuka for Professor Song Sulim. And this souvenir is delivered by Head of Agribisnis Study Program. Okay, and I would like to ask, stand still right here because we gotta have another photo session. So all participants can joining us in the front, and also to those participants who joining us virtually, please open your camera because we gotta have a photo session. Okay, another information. So for those participants who joining us physically here in auditorium, I would like to invite you all to come to the front. And also participants who joining us virtually using Zoom and also YouTube, please open your camera because we gotta have another photo session. Okay. Okay, Pasigit, please. Another special guest here today. Maybe we can make a 2 lines for the boys at the front. Yeah, half sitting. Okay. Okay, so we gotta have a formal session. Okay. Okay, we gotta start. 3, 2, 1, say kimchi. Okay, another heart. Okay, another heart pose like this. Okay, 1, 2, 3, kimchi. And then ute, maybe ute style. So you have to use your right hand right here, and then yeah. Okay, good job. Okay. 3, 2, 1, cheese. Another one, kimchi. So thank you for our participants here joining us physically or virtually using Zoom media. Once again, we would like to thank our speaker, Professor Song Sulip, and also the participants who are joining us and contribute on this event. And I would like to remind to all of the participants of today's event to fill the attendance form by clicking the link that already shared by the committee. We hope today's event become a great experience for you to share knowledges, experience, and inspirations. Hope to see you again on the next visiting lecture. Thank you and have a good day. See you on the next visiting lecture session.